A ghost ship that had been missing for years appeared on the beach. Someone was curious and crept into it. Finally, he was shocked by the scene inside. And of course, he ended up very miserable. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Movie Night. Today, we're going to talk about an Indian thriller called Boot, the Haunted Ship. John worked in a shipping office. He once had a very happy family, including a wife who loved him and a lovely daughter. But now he was alone in the house. One night, after receiving a call about the smuggling case, he went directly to the dock alone and then saved a group of abducted women. But when he was about to take them away, three workers suddenly found him. So a fierce fight began between them. Fortunately, he was strong, so he subdued the three before the police arrived. But even so, he didn't look very proud or happy sitting in the car. Then his colleague hurried to him and educated him. Because after all, his behavior was very dangerous. At the same time, a huge unmanned ship suddenly appeared on the shore. So the next morning there was news that the unmanned ship was stranded on the beach. To find out what was going on, John's boss immediately took him and his colleague to the beach. The colleague told the boss that the ship could not be moved until the next high tide. But at that time, they didn't know. In fact, in this ship there used to happen strange things. Is that there once had been a little girl picking up a doll and then suddenly being lifted into the air by a mysterious force. After that, no one saw the little girl again. Tonight, a bold young couple secretly boarded the ship to look for excitement, and the girl deliberately played hide and seek with the boy to frighten him. Unexpectedly, the girl was also suddenly pulled by a force. The next morning, John and others came to investigate the ship because there was no electricity on the ship. The cabin was dark and they couldn't see anything clearly, but when they just came in, John noticed an old doll singing on the floor. Then he went into the room. As he drew back the curtains, the flashlight fell under the bed. When he leaned over to pick it up, he saw the old doll again under the bed. Obviously, John began to feel confused, but while he was thinking about what was happening, the doll moved again. He felt something was wrong, which made him a little scared. That night, when John was at home, the doll suddenly flashed in front of his eyes. The next day, accompanied by his colleagues, John came to the cabin of the ship. Then when he was walking with his colleague suddenly disappeared. As he groped in the dark alone, John saw a new room, but the moment he pressed the shutter, a man suddenly appeared on the sofa. He thought he had hallucinated again, so he came out, but unexpectedly, when he turned around, he saw the man pouncing on him again. It scared him and made him fall to the ground. But when he looked again, there was nothing. Because of these illusions, John was restless all day. His body was covered in bruises and wounds, and when he tried to show his colleague the brand new room he had taken a picture of, he found the photos were full of old pictures instead of the appearance that he remembered. John then went to take back the repaired disc. It turned out to be a record of illegal contraband transactions, and it was the captain's wife who made the video. The next day, the body of the young couple's girl was found on the beach, which the media immediately reported on TV. When John's boss saw this news, he immediately ordered John and his colleague to move the ship quickly. John and his colleague had to find a boat and tried to pull the ship from the beach, but eventually failed. When they were at a loss what to do, John suddenly saw someone in the sea, so he immediately jumped into the sea to save him. After rescuing the man, he saw a little girl under the boat. Then when he woke up from the hospital and asked his colleague about the little girl, he replied that he had never seen her. At the time, John did not know whether it was true or false. Since his wife and daughter left him, his mental state was not stable, and in order to keep them in his illusion, he did not take any medicine. Maybe that's why he always saw things that other people couldn't. The reason why John did not hesitate to run down to the sea was because when his family of three played rafting, he did not give his daughter a suitable life jacket, so she unfortunately passed away accidentally. And in the meantime, his wife also had gone because her head bumped the sharp rock carelessly. After that, he regretted it very much. In order not to let the girl he saw have an accident, he went to the ship at night, but the cabin was too dark, so he could only try to feel for her. Then a strange whistle came into his ear. Just when John was a little scared, the girl suddenly jumped into the air and rushed towards him. He was so scared that he fell directly to the bottom of the cabin. When he got up, he realized that it might not be an ordinary girl. After being frightened, he decided to flee here, but at that time, all cabin doors could not be opened. When he was in despair, the little girl appeared at the other end of the corridor. It was clear that she was about to take his life. Fortunately, at this crucial moment, his colleague came and opened the cabin door, so John successfully escaped. But after returning home, John could still see the little girl's figure constantly. Somehow he felt that it was not simple. So after he carefully checked the videotape of the ship, he found that the girl was not among the people who jumped into the sea. In addition, John recalled that someone used to say that the ship was haunted. He immediately thought that the little girl of that year might be the one he had just seen in the cabin, because the girl he saw was at least 13 or 14 years old, and the little girl of that year was only 3 years old before she disappeared. And as it passed 10 years, if it was really haunted, the appearance of the spirit could not change its age. From all the signs found, the reason the little girl had such frightening behavior was most likely because she was possessed by an evil spirit. In order to find out the truth, John got the crew list. From it, he found information about the captain's wife. After repeatedly watching the video, he also noticed that a man often appeared in the video. John tried to find the captain's wife and he told her everything about the ship. Obviously, if she wanted to save the little girl, she had to tell the whole story. It turned out that the captain was addicted to smuggling and then went crazy that he often beat his wife. Finally, one day, the captain's wife decided to jump into the sea in despair. At the moment she jumped into the sea, one of the crew rescued her from behind. From then on, the two fell in love. After their deep love, they had the little girl. In addition, in order to expose the captain's illegal activities, they secretly recorded them with a camera. But one night, the sailor was found when he was filming alone, so the captain was very angry and ordered the crew to kill the sailor on the spot. But because the sailor hid the tape, the captain had to temporarily keep him alive. But the sailor, who suffered all kinds of hardships, still died after only 2 days. The captain's wife told John that there was a secret chamber in the ship, and the little girl was likely to hide there. That night, John's colleague, the captain's wife, and he boarded the ship together. To be safe, John asked her to wait patiently on deck, and he went to the cabin with his colleague. Sure enough, as they had barely reached the bottom of the cabin, they encountered a series of crises. When the captain's wife showed John the way, the daughter suddenly appeared in front of her eyes. The captain's wife couldn't resist, followed her daughter and came to the cabin. At the same time, John faced the grown-up girl possessed by evil. When it almost strangled him, the captain's wife was also about to reach the cabin, so the evil spirit immediately released him. In order to attract the captain's wife into the cabin, John rushed to her. Unexpectedly, the moment he touches her, everything that happened that year swarms into John's mind. Sure enough, the captain's wife lied. The sailor was personally stabbed to death by the captain's wife because she feared that the sailor would expose their relationship, which would endanger her unborn baby. It was obvious that the wicked sailor came to avenge himself on the captain's wife. When John was talking to the captain's wife, the evil sailor suddenly appeared behind them and beat them furiously. Fortunately, at a critical point, John found the sailor's bones and then burned the cabin with them, so that the evil spirit was finally wiped out. At the end of the film, John left the ship, also saved the poor girl, adopted her, and put his yearning for his wife and daughter on her. The movie ended here. To be honest, the evil spirit in this movie looks pretty scary, especially when the little girl's bones clattered. It's really a bit of Japanese and Thai horror movie style. In addition, there are so many twists in this movie. I really didn't expect that the truth of the story was that the captain's wife killed the sailor herself. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.